Major League Player Union they're filing a complaint against the owners who are apparently not going to pay them their full salaries if the season is cut short. Obviously, there's no announcement on how long the season's going to be cut short yet. Rob Manfred has not said that yet, but the season is going to be at least pushed to mid-May, which leads us to believe that the season could be cut short. So as a result, they would not get their full salaries of what they were able to get paid this year. They would probably have some formula to figure out how much they would get paid. They would get paid for whatever the game amounts are, etc. And then there's also a matter of service time, which could affect future arbitration hearings and future contracts with players too, which obviously means they wouldn't get paid as much as quickly either. So they're filing that against the owners right now.
Well, they're filing grievances right now to the ownership and the GMs of the MLB. Now, I understand what the players are saying. And to me, I don't care if it's half season, full season, they should make all the money that was offered to them. The contract is a contract. Right. It states in the contract they should get paid. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If you're a player and you get hurt, like Yoenis Cespedes, who's been hurt practically 2 years, he still got paid all his money. He got every single dime from the New York Mets. Every single dime. If it wasn't from the Mets, it was because of the insurance policy that every single player, every single team has an insurance policy on every single player. If they miss a certain amount of games or a whole season, that the insurance policy will pay the player. So why is it that right now where the league is, and because of the coronavirus right now, that the league is saying to the players that if the league is cut short for the season, that all the players aren't going to make their full contract money for that year.
Right. Especially since it's guaranteed money. Guaranteed money is guaranteed money.
Now,
this is how bad a contract could look.
This is another bad thing, and it's going to be another hex on Rob Manfred's, career as the commissioner of the major leagues. Mm-hmm. You see the Astros situation, that wasn't handled right, and now this situation. Remember, the players don't have any say in Rob Manfred keeping his job, but the owners do. And if the players tell the owners they don't like Rob Manfred or they don't like the situation that they're in under Rob Manfred's reign, well, then the owners are going to have to look at that because if the players aren't very happy where they are, they're going to want to be traded. And they're going to want out of the organization, especially if the owner's not listening to their star players like a Mike Trout or an Aaron Judge or a Mookie Betts or any one of these guys that are superstar players in the league. Mm-hmm. So my thoughts with the major leagues and in the MLB is Rob Manfred should not be making a deal with the players union. He shouldn't make a deal with anybody, any of the players or any of the owners. Here's the deal. Your contract states you're making $19 million for that year. You're making $19 million. It doesn't matter how many games, 50, 60, 100, 150, 162. If your contract states that you're going to get paid that money, that's what you get paid.
Right, and then also there's going to be outliers both ways too, where you're going to have guys that maybe if they played a shortened season, strived in that, and then would have fallen off, or vice versa. So you just don't know. You don't know what would have happened. Obviously, there still can be a full season. We don't know that yet. But there also could be a shortened season where we don't know how the stats would have lied and how the impact and, again, the WAR, the other analytical stats for win probability, how that would have mattered. So, it could have been many different combinations. That's why you can't just get rid of the money just because there were less games. We don't know. Players do that.
There was a story coming out that Pete Alonso grants longtime Mets fan her biggest wish. There was a story coming out of New York Mets camp, which he's right now at the New York Mets camp. He actually reached out to a New York Met fan who's about, I forget how old she is. She's a pretty old, I think she's 82. She just turned 82. And Pete Alonso actually sent her an autograph. It looks like an autograph picture of him, and he actually goes on Skype and sits and talks to her for a significant amount of time.
She knows how to use Skype? Nice.
Well, they probably set it up for her because he can't go over there to her house.
Right.
Because of the coronavirus.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, but she would know how to use Skype.
Well,
nice.
I'm sure somebody went over there, or her daughter or her son. Somebody helped her. But I mean, it's an interesting story because Pete Alonso is becoming a superstar, not only in the Mets world, but in the Yankees world too. You're talking about the biggest superstars in New York right now. You would say the Yankees, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge didn't play a whole season last year. Pete Alonso did. Pete Alonso hit 50 home runs last year. Aaron Judge hasn't hit 50 home runs in 2 years. So right now, the big name right now in New York is not Aaron Judge. It's probably Pete Alonso, or you could probably look at Torres. Gleyber Torres is another young stud who hit 40 home runs last year, and he's a shortstop. But the big superstar is Pete Alonso. And Pete Alonso, he said he has done everything right. He has done every single thing right as far as what I've seen on and off the field for the New York Mets.
Very selfless superstar, too.
Absolutely. Chris Sale to undergo Tommy John surgery. It's a very, very interesting story because a lot of people are playing fantasy and they're starting to pick their fantasy teams. One, my chief, who reached out to me to help me and Speed have been helping him pick his team right now for his 12-man fantasy league for the Suffolk Police. And we've been picking out some players for him. And thank God we didn't tell him Chris Sale because obviously the last year and a half, Chris Sale has not been the same player. And a lot of people believed when the Red Sox made that trade for Chris Sale, a lot of owners and a lot of GMs didn't like the trade because not that Chris Sale wasn't a good pitcher.
They gave up too much.
They gave up too much, and Chris Sale's throwing, the way he throws the ball on, going low and using a lot of his arm and his elbow.
It won't help him age well.
And the way he throws hard, he throws 96, 97 miles per hour. A lot of people thought that eventually he's going to need Tommy John surgery, and it comes out today that he's going to need Tommy John surgery, which means he's not going to play at all this year and probably won't play until midseason next year. So the Red Sox, who just gave him a huge contract last year, is going to be sitting out without Chris Sale for at least 2 years. So, yes, he won a World Series because of cheating, and that's what you brought Chris Sale in, is to win a World Series. But also, you paid him a significant amount of money. I think it was $140, $150 million. Right. And now you're not going to have him for almost 2 years. And that's 2 years less on his contract that you're going to have to pay him. So let me ask you this question. Even though there's a half a season, Chris Sale is out for the season. He's not going to get paid all his money. He's absolutely going to get paid all his money.
It's guaranteed money. Guaranteed money is guaranteed money.
So I don't understand this situation right now that Rob Manfred and the owners think that they're going to get over on the baseball union and say, you know what, we're not going to pay them. I'm sorry, you're going to have to pay them. You pay injured players, you're going to have to pay him. So I don't understand.
You have to account for every circumstance. Players could leave on personal leave all the time. Then they're gone for a week or two, and then they don't play for a while. They get hurt. Things happen, and the circumstances have to be constant no matter who you are in order for paying players. It's guaranteed money. You pay guaranteed money to everyone.
Could I pay guaranteed money to beat you on the head with something?
How much?
Well, it's not going to be a six-figure.
Well, then no.
You think somebody's going to give you 6 figures to beat you on the head with something? Nobody's going to give you 6 figures. I don't think anybody will give you $5 to do that.
Okay, well then no deal.
Well, it's a deal for me. I could do it anyways.
Oh,
God. When do you think baseball is going to start? May or June?
I think it will be June because I think May. I think they're going to try to wait it out until mid-May, and then they're going to see what happens kind of thing. But I feel like there's going to be another setback, or they're going to maybe ease the season. And I think what they'll end up doing, I do think they'll try to play the full season, but I think there's going to be a lot of doubleheaders mixed in, and I think the season will end later as a result. But again, they're also trying to account now for the amount of reduction in terms of the games. Obviously, how much would you delete? How much would you get rid of interleague play? How would you manage with the schedule is going to be the question. So, again, I don't know how they could do that without trying to keep the full season. Again, unless they just play, all right, this is what your second half schedule would have been. But that could be caused it to be lopsided. So I think that's what they're going to try to do. And as a result, I think you're going to see a lot more double headers as a result as well because of that. Because, again, I don't think they want to extend it where it goes all the way to the 2021. I think you're going to see it where they're going to at least keep it in the calendar year, but at the same time, there are going to be teams that benefit in those circumstances if those schedules are uneven. So I think they are going to try to make it where it's 162 games still, no matter what, even if it means playing maybe 20, 21 doubleheaders in a season.
631-971 8070, right? I think it's 8070.
8070.
Yeah, there you go.
I always forget the 971. You always forget the last
I'll have
part.
to post it so I will remember it because it keeps going back and forth. But I want to apologize to the fans if we're going in and out of our radio show. There's some internet problems, but eventually it will get fixed, especially when we're done with the show. But there you go. It's working now. Don't touch anything, Speedy. But I do want to finish up with this particular story that is coming out right now. I know a lot of people in sports are upset, especially, a lot of people that are sports fans are upset that there are no sports going on right now. And I'll tell you this, it's very, very hard to speak about sports on a radio show when there's no sports going on. It really is. And that's why we do debates and we do all these different topics that kind of throw off sports, make people laugh, and have them be entertained for a couple of hours where we can have you laughing and then you can go home or hang out with your girlfriend or hang out with your boyfriend or whatever, whoever's listening to the show, and enjoy themselves after the show. There is a story coming out that baseball fans if baseball is not going to happen this year, and this is what I've read through a story, that fans are going to have, they're going to go crazy, they're going to do stupid things off the field. I'm talking about, you saw what happened in the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia fans after they won the Super Bowl, turning cars over.
Classic Philadelphia.
It happened, what college team that won national title? That happened to a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it Villanova?
I don't think it was Villanova. There were other fans that something happened. I forget what college. It was either college football or college basketball that they were flipping over cars and burning cars down. I think it was Virginia. If it was whoever won that, Virginia and Georgia Tech, whatever.
Virginia won last year, so
then it was that year.
Okay.
So and
I had to be reminded of that.
Well, why?
Because I always picked on Virginia.
Well, I'll pick on you because you are.
I was right on them.
You sit here like you don't know what I'm talking about, and then you all of a sudden you remember, and then you spit it out. So I don't know, but I think fans take sports a little too far, and I understand fans are upset that there are no sports going on. A matter of fact, I'm one of those fans that are not happy sports aren't going on.
We would be watching the NCAA tournament right now,
but things happen. We're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to be eating. We're lucky to have food. We're lucky to have shelter. Some people aren't as lucky around the world. And I understand people are upset and they're mad that sports is some people's lives. You know, you go to work all day. You work your ass off at work. You come home. You take your shower. You eat dinner. And what do you want to do? You want to watch sports. Or you want to play video games. You can still play video games, but you can't watch sports. And I think that's what bothers a lot of fans right now, that they got nothing to do. After work, the malls are closed for 2 weeks. There's nothing open right now. There's no restaurants. There's no bookstores. There's nothing open right now. So there's nothing in people's eyes that can occupy them enough where they can live without sports. But does that mean you're going to go out and cause havoc throughout the nation, throughout the streets? Now, I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen a lot of movies being Gangs of New York. If you watch the movie, at the end of the movie, the people go nuts because they're all getting drafted and they're all getting put in a draft and nobody wants to go into the draft. So they're attacking the rich people because the rich people don't have to go because they got money and they're paying off the world with COVID-19. We don't know how to stop it. We're trying to figure it out right now as a nation, as a world. And eventually we'll figure this out. And I think we'll get through this.